Oh, there we go. All right, perfect, perfect. Not enough, not enough. We need a little more. The front of this car and work our way back explaining everything about this car, not just what it costs and what it does. We'll also discuss that, but also the whys. Why did we build a mid-engine? Why did we build a mid-engine now? And how does our mid-engine differ from other mid-engines on the market? So this starts with the lineage of all of this. We've been working at this for years, and it essentially came to the point where Taj and Harlan, the head of our Corvette team here, felt that they'd reached the pinnacle of what they could accomplish with the architectures at play. When they built the C6 ZR1, they were barely able to improve it, and it actually just came down to the tires that the car had on it. That was how far and how high performing those cars were. So the C7 was the pinnacle of what we could accomplish with front engine sports car performance. So in order to keep the Corvette going into the future and performing with our competitors, we had to go mid-engine. So that is why we went mid-engine now. Now this vehicle is a lot bigger than the outgoing C7. Any C7 owners here tonight? Couple of hands in the air. All right, welcome back, you guys. This vehicle here is 2 inches wider and 5.8 inches longer than the C7. It is significantly bigger. It's also a little heavier, depending on the equipment on board, roughly 150 pounds heavier. And it is also 60-40 weight distribution, 60% in the rear, 40% in the front, whereas the C7 was 50-50. So the most common question we get is, how is this faster? And it basically all comes down to the physics of mid-engine. A mid-engine sports car, regardless of its configuration, has a lower polar moment of inertia. What that translates to, this is rear-wheel drive. The engine and the transmission are positioned right over the rear axle of the vehicle. It is still rear-wheel drive, so it's putting all of its power to the ground a lot more reliably. On the front end of the car, it also benefits you there because it's a lot lighter up in the nose for more instantaneous responsive steering. So your driving dynamics are entirely different now. You are no longer being pulled behind a motor, you're being pushed in front of one, and you are now on the center pivot of turning axis of the car. So the car is turning around you for the first time ever. So it's an entirely different drive feeling on board. As equipped with the Z51 pack, you're going 0 to 60 under 3 seconds, 2.8 specific. You'll never be late for anything. That's the good news here. So we're going to start at the nose, work our way back. This is a center tunnel chassis, not a tub chassis, and that's pretty important to recognize in our architecture here. Everything is built across a highly dense compressed aluminum back brace running down the center of the car. You notice there's a pretty high beam here in the middle. There's a couple benefits to that. Number one, our chassis is 10% more rigid than our outgoing C7 chassis, and it opens up the exterior side of the vehicle to run coolant and electronics around. So it is fully functional. At the front of the car, your primary heat dispersers are under the headlights on either side. If you're here at the front and you're crouched down, you can see how big they are. They actually extend past the carbon flash metallic front fascia here. You have these huge oval brake cooling ducts up in the front for your front brake cooling as well. You have hidden latches for all of your openings all over the car, including for the front trunk, or what we fondly call the frunk, right under the driver's headlight midway back. We'll hit that right there. That'll pop it open for you. This is the frunk. The frunk was specifically designed to fit one rigid overhead airline suitcase. So you still get a lot of practicality on board. 12.6 cubic feet of storage space on board. For comparison, most other mid-engines, including our direct competitors, the Ferrari 458 and the McLaren 570S, only give you 6 cubic feet. So it is still a lot of usable luggage space on board. 3 mechanical components riding with you up in the front. Your battery and your electronics are dead center here, just to the right of this ventilated flap. Also, you have your brake-by-wire brake system. For the first time ever on the Corvette, you can now digitally tune and adjust your brakes on the fly. So for all of you C7 owners, you could digitally adjust your throttle response, your suspension, and your exhaust. You can now do all that here, plus you can go a little further in depth and choose your brake feeling as well. 2 separate digital modes as well. You have a My mode for your daily personalized drive setting, and your Z mode, which is your personalized performance setting. So you still have 4 preset modes: track, sport, touring, and weather. Track being the most aggressive, and weather and touring being the most soft or conservative settings, and you can go anywhere within that spectrum and customize it for your own desired settings now as well. I feel like we're in the Jetsons now with all this technology we have. But we're getting there. So this is also the most aggressively slanted front of the car we've ever had. Really aggressive front hood, the lowest long windshield we've ever built for basically At speed, the downforce is keeping you planted. A little quirky feature of the car, the passenger side mirror here actually sticks out 2 inches wider than the driver's side mirror, simply because of the angle of the windshield. We wanted to keep visibility prime, so we had to extend that 2 inches. So from a driver's position, you still have great optics all the way around the vehicle. This is the leanest Corvette we've ever built as well. There's very little wasted space. All the body panels are pulled as tightly as possible over the underlying mechanics, and everything is functional for cooling. So again, radiators in the nose, transmission-specific radiator on the passenger side through that side scoop on the side, and on the driver's side there's not a specific heat disperser, but this is where your air intake comes off of, and we also have an electric fan mounted back here to assist getting hot engine air out of the back of the car. We don't want to let engine air accumulate in the above the engine here, so it doesn't affect interior cabin temperature or rear trunk temperature very much at all. Now, although the vehicle's 5.8 inches longer, the wheelbase is only half an inch longer, but it has a tighter turning radius than the C7, so it is easier to navigate around because you get more angle on the front with your front wheels. So even though it's bigger, it's still a supercar that you can daily drive. You have a hydraulic front lift available. Anyone scrape a Corvette ever driving around town? Right, everyone's like, oh yes, it's happened to me too. Don't worry, we're all in the same camp. You can lift the nose now just south of 2 inches, going under 25 miles an hour. It's for speed bumps, steep driveways, potholes. It has GPS memory and can remember up to 1,000 different obstacles. So it kind of takes care of itself in terms of lifting over stuff, making it way easier just to daily drive something this long and this low. Now again, it's 5.8 inches longer, so the hydraulic lift does help you because your entry and egress angles have decreased a bit due to the overall length of the car. It sits just over $90,000 here as it's equipped. This is fully loaded from the factory. We don't have cosmetic accessories on board, however. So for example, we don't have carbon fiber ground effects, high spoiler, or accessory wheels. Steve, our vehicle handler here, will show you how the convertible top works. If you've wanted to see it work, here it is. It is a dual folding hard top roof. It only adds 80 pounds of weight to the car, which is amazing because it's powered by 6 different electric motors. The clamshell opens to the front, you'll see right there. You can operate this, by the way, while you're driving under 30 miles an hour. That'll latch right on the top there. You don't have to push any latches. Push of a button and it does it all for you. Yeah, it is awesome, thank you. On the convertible, you do have 2 choices for color of roof. This is the carbon flash metallic roof you see here, or you can get it body color to match the car if you would like. The neat thing about the convertible, anyone here own a Corvette convertible? A lot of hands in the air. Welcome back, you guys. Traditionally on a Corvette, if you put the convertible roof down, you lose a lot of your trunk space. The benefit with this one here, as you can see, as the roof goes back down, it's going to rest on top of the motor, not directly on top. There's a thermal insulated panel back there, so your roof's not getting cooked, but it does not affect your rear trunk space at all. Technically, the convertible has a larger trunk because it doesn't have the latches back here to put the coupe roof in it. So if you were to fill it with water or sand, there's technically higher volume back here. 2 sets of golf clubs do fit in the back. Again, 12.6 cubic feet, so it is pretty comfortable as well.